Yes, people, welcome back to Catabolic Window episode number, almost approaching 100 here. And we've got one of Jack's clients, Liam, on the podcast today. So give us a bit of background on you guys, how long you've been working together, why you wanted to come on the why you wanted him on the podcast, Jack, and all of that.
Okay, I'm taking the lead, am I? Okay. I won't speak too much for Liam because that's why we've got him here, is to speak for himself. But we've been working together for, I don't know, mate, 2 years. I knew that 2 years. I thought it was 2 years, but I didn't want to. I don't
Terrible
know.
retention, there, mate.
Yeah, I know. Coming over. I mean, we're over 2 years now. I don't know when the anniversary is. I should maybe find out. But since kind of I brought on Liam, he's changed a lot as a person and grown a lot. And I think your story, mate, would benefit a lot of people, because I think there's a lot of people who are in a position that you were in and are kind of looking to do something similar to yourself. And I thought, you know what, like, let's fucking bring you on and have you talk about it. So yeah, man, I mean, introduce yourself, give some background. We kind of briefly spoke about, you know, what it is you're going to be talking about, but go for it, man.
Sweet. So yeah, as these guys said, my name is Liam. I'm very new to the business. So I've started out as an online coach under the name Busy Beast Coaching. The reason I've gone for this name is because I'm a very busy person myself, as most of us are. But in my case, I work 14-hour shifts, sometimes back to back, sleep at work. It's absolute carnage at times. So obviously, you know, fitness goals can kind of become quite difficult alongside that. Whereas Jack has definitely helped me over the last couple of years to figure all that out. So alongside that, he's also now helping me with coaching education in order to coach other people to do the same. Obviously, everyone's struggles are different, mine being the long hours. Some people it's family life, you know, various other reasons. Shall I go into how I started within fitness?
Yeah, man, go for it. Go for it.
How far can I take this? Because obviously my history is a bit warped.
It depends, like, what you're comfortable with sharing. I know what you're referring to.
Yeah,
depends what you're comfortable with sharing, but there will be people who were in that position. You can allude to it, you can go into detail. It's kind of up to you. With, like, darker days as such.
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. I'm quite a transparent person, so if this helps people, great. So I basically wasted my late teens, early 20s, which could have been the best years of fitness, on partying, drink, smoking, drugs, like, you know, yeah, without going into it too heavily, wasn't the best lifestyle. So I actually turned 30 recently, and it's kind of, I think I've mentioned this quote to you, Jack, of what's that saying about the best time to plant a tree is today? No, the best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago. The second best time is today.
Yeah.
I've kind of gone into it with that attitude. So instead of looking at it as, okay, I've wasted my best years, look at it as, okay, let's make up for lost time now. Again, not everybody starts out this way. It's fantastic that you guys got into fitness nice and early, but not all of us did. So going from the fucked up lifestyle to then, you know, ridiculously busy lifestyle to now being heavily into fitness and wanting to help others do the same. Personally, I think that's a pretty good turnaround, and I want to be able to help other people to do the same thing that I've done, essentially. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, man. So the biggest thing for you that I think a lot of people can relate to is, like, I think me and Luke and kind of all of us have heard or seen people say or whatever, like, oh, I'm too busy. And I think that the main thing is, like, the way that the world is going and the way that, like, inflation's going, people are only going to work more and more and more. And people are only going to get busier. And so if you let that kind of control your life, you're going to end up being one of those people who looks back when they're 60 and just sees a long list of things that they wish they did or wish that they'd kind of push themselves to do, and instead they're just kind of looking at this big long career in something that they just kind of felt meh about, and enjoyed nothing else. They kind of just, like, slept, ate, watched TV and went to their job. And I think having someone like yourself who works more than most people and being like, look, you're not only doing that, but you're coaching other people and managing to achieve your own fitness goals. Like, I think hopefully it brings a lot of people a lot of hope, because most people are just working a 9 to 5 with regular hours and they're struggling enough with that. And you're on, like, 14-hour rotating shifts where you're sleeping at your work. Like, the difference is crazy, you know?
Yeah, for sure, mate. And I mean, like, with that as well, obviously, I could look at it 2 different ways. I could say, okay, I wasted my life up until this point, so what's the point in starting now? Or you could say, okay, let's start afresh from here and not carry on being the person that you're to be honest, pretty much ashamed of being. So, I mean, I'm massively proud of how far I've come with this. And obviously a lot of it has been through your help. So if I can help others to do what you've helped me to do, fantastic. Like that's the end goal here.
So when you started working with Jack, walk us through what your schedule was like.
So at the time, it was actually slightly worse than it is now. So it was random as fuck, mate. So like now,
Definitely
at least
shouldn't have started then.
What's that?
Definitely shouldn't have started then, mate.
Yeah, too busy.
That's it, mate. Like, so I was doing, again, like I said, 14-hour shifts, but because I didn't have a rolling rota, it would vary week to week as well. So in the very beginning, I would have to send Jack what my shifts were, and he would tell me what days to train around that, which was a fucking godsend, because even just picking a training split was a nightmare. So sometimes we'd have to personalize that a little bit. Same with meal plans. My food, I kind of preferred efficiency over enjoyment, which again is personal choice. You don't have to do it that way. But for me, it just made sense when I was at work for 14 hours. You didn't know. Also, I'm a support worker, so I look after vulnerable adults with learning disabilities and things. So the schedule of the day can be chaos as well. We don't have set break times. You basically go into work and sometimes that day find out what you're doing. So you could be out in the car for 10 hours. So being able to take food that suits that lifestyle was really important, which is another thing that Jack helped me out with. And something.
Could you give us some examples?
Yeah, so we had one guy, he had to go in for a blood test one day, and he's really anxious about hospitals, really anxious about needles. So I got there in the morning, basically had to scram my breakfast as quickly as I could, which luckily was pre-packed, and then had to go out for, I think it was like 5 hours or something. By the time he calmed him down, actually got him through the door. You know, it was ridiculous. But we managed to do it. And obviously food, I was bulking at the time, so it wasn't great with trying to cram meals close together, but I managed to pick up a meal deal on the fly and then managed to fit in one of my more transportable meals around that. So again, you can easily go with the attitude of, look, I just can't do it. My lifestyle sucks. This doesn't work. Or you can take on board somebody else's advice and actually make it work around your schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. That's nuts. So how many hours a week total would it be? Like 50, 60?
So the basic hours are 40 hours a week plus a sleep in. So you sleep at work, which is 10 at night till 8 in the morning. That's your sort of night time. But there's always overtime going. I've kind of slowed down on the overtime now, but I used to do 70-hour weeks easily, which is chaos, which also is another reason in the beginning. So at the minute I do a 4-day split. But in the beginning we would kind of do 4 days one week and then 3 days the next if I couldn't fit that into my schedule, which again just shows customizable splits are a fantastic way to go on that.
Yeah, I remember when you started and you'd send over shifts, like we went for, if anyone's busy and they're kind of listening at home, go for, I remember I asked, I was like, what's the minimum amount of days that we could train? And it was like usually around 4. So like, okay, so we made a 4-day split. If occasionally we had 3 days or 5 days, we could expand out on that, but we'd keep the lifts the same. So we could still try and log and take some progression there. Even if we were like, okay, we're making we had to combine 2 into 1, we'd still, you know, either take half the lifts and aim to progress them so that every week you're still doing some element of progression. But yeah, even with your food to this day, you're still a fan of like just convenience, easy to prep, like tastes good enough, rather than being like, yeah, I'm bringing a whole roast dinner with me to work. You know, you're like, as long as it tastes good enough and it's easy to prep, I think, you know, and that's a good approach to have, is like, because, well, do you want to, like, I don't want to do all the talking for you, but we've got quite a good approach to food, I feel. You could run us through your current approach to food, because it might surprise people as well, what you're able to do, especially while dieting.
Yeah. So obviously, as you said, I'm in a dieting phase at the moment. So what works well for me, again, this might not sound most enjoyable to some people, but I'm quite OCD with routine, so I'm absolutely fine with this. But I'll go for basically some kind of like cereal mixed with like dark chocolate, protein powder.
Human, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Eddie Boo, eat your heart out, mate. But yeah, so that'll be like a basic breakfast, and then the second meal of the day might be like some kind of like carb source, so like rice, pasta, something like that, mixed with meat, veg, you know, and then I'll kind of repeat that a couple of times throughout the day. And then one thing that's really important for me personally is I'll kind of go for like snack bars as one of my meals, which I'll sometimes even have as the last meal of the day, just because I've got a sweet tooth, so I like that as a treat to look forward to. So that can be like cereal bars, oat bars, something like that. Because it's basically it's healthy enough with what we're doing. It fits my macros, it fits my schedule, and plus, you know, if you're busier towards the back end of the day, it's nice to have something that you can just take out, not have to worry about refrigerating, heating up again. Which, as I said, sometimes that can happen where you're kind of stuck out for the day. But then I also don't mind eating those meals cold at times. So like I'm a bit of a weirdo when it comes to food. But it's also not something I expect from other people. That's just something I'm personally able to adhere to.
And we've got as well, what have we got twice a week?
Yeah, of course. Two, I won't say cheat meals because Jack will have a heart attack, but yeah, two untracked meals, which is great. And to be fair, I've had to learn to not overdo those as well, because obviously they're fantastic for helping out with a social life, motivation. But I'll admit, I'm human. I've got a terrible habit of overdoing them and then having to cut back calories throughout the rest of the week because of it, which is usually the opposite of what we teach people. But again, I like going overboard on food. Like, I'm sure it's breaking Jack's heart to hear this, but no, again, we're human. We need to enjoy the process as well. I'm not looking to compete. So for me, I'm very much a lifestyle client, and that's very much the kind of clients I'm looking for too. So I at least want enjoyment to be very high up on the scale as alongside progression, which I think we're balancing pretty well at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we've got something that you're able to progress, that you can enjoy, where each and every week we look back and in the check and we say, right, is there anything about that week that we regret? Is there anything about that week that objectively was not good for progress? Or is there anything about that week that didn't work around your schedule? And as long as we're ticking all those boxes, like, we're seeing what we want to see. Like, you're getting leaner, you're following a process that you enjoy, you've still got that flexibility of those meals and you're able to get those in. Your progression's still good, energy's still good. Like, we're ticking all the boxes, and that's really what that's about. Is like, the process for you is very individualized, and there's not really a one size fits all for people who are busy, because busy looks very different. And I think that's why working with someone like Liam is fantastic. Not to toot his horn too much. That's not an expression, is it? That sounds sexual. But not to like gas up Liam too much. I don't want to give him too much of an ego, because we've still got a long podcast left to go, and I don't want him to be insufferable. No, I'm kidding. But like, having someone who has experience being that busy and knows what kind of individual factors can play a role in what the best approach is so important. Because, like, if me or Luke work with someone who's like a uni student, they've got all the time in the world, it's kind of hard to fuck up their plan. Like, you just give them something somewhat effective, and like, if they've got all the time in the world, even if it's a little bit tedious or they're not 100% loving it, they'll probably just crack on with it anyway. But if your time allowance is like razor thin and everything needs to be to the minute, like, if you give something that's too long in the gym, that person might just not do it, or leave in a strop, or get really upset and really demotivated. And that's where you have to be so careful. And dealing with busy people, if you are a busy person, it can be so overwhelming, because it's usually because of work and you can't just not work.
Well, that's another thing that I feel like we found a really good balance with, because obviously when I first started, we used a lot of intensifiers to save time. And although that was effective on saving time, I don't massively enjoy training that way. So we kind of tweaked rep ranges, you know, different numbers of sets and things to find out what I'm able to progress with the energy and time that I have, while also still keeping it enjoyable. Because I'm very much old fashioned in training. Like, that's just a personal bias. I prefer straight sets. I prefer older bodybuilding style movements. I like powerlifting movements. So yeah, I think we've balanced that really well now, mate.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing as well. Like, we're able to look at those objective markers and say, okay, well, we're getting what we need to out of this. You're enjoying it when you're engaging with it, and you've been consistent with this plan or something like this plan for the past 2 years. Yeah. And like, your physique has come a long way, your strength has come a long way. And like, yeah, it shows that what we're doing is working, and it's good, and you're not getting into work and people can't tell that you're, you know, how much time you're spending in the gym. Obviously they can from your visuals, but they're not looking at you like, oh mate, you look tired, you look like you've been to the gym all night, or you look like you've been prepping meals all day, you're not showing up to work, and everyone's like, Jesus, Liam, what happened? You know, like, they can't tell that you're putting in any amount of time towards the gym besides the fact that you're just growing.
But that's the other thing as well, because obviously, like, as Jack knows, like, we've had to cater in. I'm a bit of an insomniac as well, so my sleep hygiene is so good. Like, I put so much work into it, but I'm just awful for waking up throughout the night. And we continue to put things in place to help that. But again, we've had to tweak my sessions to kind of make that work around recovery as well with that, which is also something that I think people underestimate within coaching. They just see it as, oh, they're going to help me build muscle, they're going to help me burn fat, they're going to help me get stronger. but I don't think people realize how much work goes into the psychology of it, how much it helps people with their lifestyle, with their relationships with other people, with food. Like it's, I've said it to Jack before, like it's almost like having a therapist alongside a physique coach, which I think people don't realize how much of that goes into coaching.
Yeah, it's a people job at the end of the day. Like whilst it's difficult to learn the right stuff, like pretty much anyone can do it if they spend enough time with it. Whereas like you're not going to get on with absolutely everyone, and just learning to work with people is very important.
But this is it. I mean, I posted a video on this on my story recently that you know, I'm not going to go running people's name through the dirt, but before Jack, I actually signed up with a different coach, and they sent me the training plan through a WhatsApp message. They didn't ask me how many days a week I could commit to training. They sent me the diet plan, and when I asked them if I could make a couple of little tweaks because of my schedule, they said, no, it has to be this. This is the only way it's going to work. And I was just like, this isn't for me at all. And then obviously signed up with Jack and immediately saw a huge difference. And I mean, both of you are fantastic for this, of like leading by example. And obviously I follow both of you. I look at a lot of your content, and yeah, I mean, you're both great coaches to aspire to. They haven't paid me to say this, by the way.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, we should do that. We should bring guests on and just pay them. We'll be like, yeah, we'll pay you, mate, if you say lovely things about us.
Works fine. No problem.
Yeah, but I think it's always so interesting whenever someone says, "Oh, I'm too busy to commit to anything like that," and it's like, well, the way that I see it is, and just because you're busy doesn't mean that those goals go away. Like, you're still going to look at the gym, and people go to the gym and kind of be like, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. And it's like, you've got people who literally specialize in it. Like Liam that is his area of expertise, because he spent his whole fucking life being busy, and his whole training career being busy. So if anyone's going to know how to sort it, it's big man up there. Like, so when you've got someone who has that like clear social proof and experience, because as much as like, me and Luke have both been busy, we haven't been like working in care.
Not that same situation. Yeah,
exactly. Like UPT and I coach, we're both very busy, but there's different kinds of busy. You know, it's like you being corporate busy or being like shift worker busy. Again, they're very, very different things, because you know, you're bouncing all over the place. Like the specific stresses that you would go through, Liam, in a day are going to be very specific to like, you know, rotational work and working care as well. But whenever people say like, oh, I'm too busy, it's like, okay, so then what? Whenever you look in the mirror and you're like, damn, I wish I was leaner, do you just go, nah, no, I don't, I'm busy? It's like, no, those goals stay the same. You know, when you're trying to open the pasta sauce, you're like, fuck, I wish this was easier. Then you're like, nah, I'm too busy. I don't care about that anymore. Like, it's insane how people just shut off those wants and desires for the sake of like a perception of slightly more convenience, you know?
I think that's, yeah, you've kind of hit the nail on the head with that as well, because it's that perception of convenience. Because a lot of people look at it as, I don't have time to get in shape, I don't have time for a coach, but actually it saves you time. Yeah. I mean, in fact, it's not ideal cooking this many days at a time, obviously, like food safety, but again, with my shifts, it works.
How many days do you do?
4 at the moment.
Oh, so mate, I do 5, it's fine.
Yeah, 4 is not too bad.
6 is pushing it.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't, mate. That would taste stale. That'd be gross. But no, I think when people look at it as, oh my god, I have to cook that many days in a row, that's going to take a whole day. Like, it really doesn't. Like, within an hour or two, I've got 4 days worth of food ready to go. Whereas most people spend like an hour or two a night cooking after like a day at the office, and people don't seem to kind of like get that you're actually saving yourself time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I put it down to like anyway. A fine art. I can do 10 meals in an hour and a half.
Exactly.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But I always say to people, like, you're gonna eat food anyway. You might as well have it like make you look better.
True.
You know, like it's either you're gonna need to find some convenience meals anyway, because either it's like Deliveroo if you want convenience, or it's cooking for yourself multiple times a day, and that's taking up time. So most people who are busy end up meal prepping anyway, because it's cheaper and more effective. And it's like, well, if you're meal prepping, you might as well just ask someone who knows about nutrition, hey, here's things I like to eat. If you're going to make pasta, hey, Jack, Liam, Luke, I like pasta. Can you make me one that builds muscle? Yeah, man, here you go. Like,
no, pasta doesn't build muscle.
Yeah, true. Sorry. It's like your old coach, Liam. There's only one way to do it. And it's with rice, not pasta.
Pasta is catabolic.
It's true. That's why we love it on this show.
What's the most rice you guys have ever had in a day?
In a day?
Yeah.
600 gram raw, maybe.
Yeah, 400 grams.
Fucking hell, that is a lot.
Yeah. Liam, you love a bit of rice. Yeah. What did you say? 400.
Yeah, 400 raw.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's Indian, so like, you know, I've got to love rice.
How high
Nice
did your
bit of
food
casual
get?
racism. Let's go. Oh no, that's more. It's not really racism. It's more of a stereotype.
Oh mate, if you're in an interracial relationship, you've got to make these jokes to each other.
Yeah, Luke,
I didn't catch what you said. Sorry, where's she from?
Well, okay, so she was born in India. Her parents are Indian, but she spent most of her life in South Africa. So
Right.
the constant, like, back and forth racial humor is a lot of fun.
Elite. I back it.
You've got a missus from a similar area, don't you, Luke?
Yeah, Delhi.
Delhi. That is India.
That is India. Yeah.
That's
How
deep.
many how many racial jokes are you to make into each other? Or
I
not at
get
all?
in trouble a lot of the time.
Really?
Yeah.
I can believe that.
To be fair, some of the shit you say on social media is outrageous, mate. I read it.
What do you mean?
It makes me piss myself each time. You're like looking for a dick joke in everything that you say.
Yeah. Oh mate, I wrote a fucking. Oh, this was so good. Let me find it. Okay, so I was writing a post about genetics. You know the angle I'm going for here. And I start with like a Mary Berry analogy. Like the first cake she made was pretty shit, and it takes practice. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, in reality, the best bakers have spent years doing it. The best bodybuilders have spent years doing it. The best porn stars have spent years literally doing it. I was so proud of myself.
Nice, mate. Nice. Fucking hell, that's throwing me right off. We've got the rapid fire questions. I'll save them for the end. But yeah, to be fair, we could do everyone's weeks. So because we kind of skipped over that a little bit. Or I'll tell you what, just like general recent events. Luke, is there anything kind of recently that's happened to you that's noteworthy within the past few weeks?
I had the unfortunate opportunity to spend a few hours with you on Saturday. It was not.
Yeah, we met up. We trained. What did we train? Legs, was it? Yeah, it was legs.
Yeah. What did you get out of your bag, Jack?
Nothing. Nothing was got out of my bag. It was a little biro pen. I promise.
Okay. This biro pen wasn't full of ink, though, was it?
It was a form of ink.
Okay.
I mean, you could write with it. It just wouldn't show up very well, and it might pin the paper with something. It might make the paper enhanced.
You know, the CIA used to write with semen. It's like
yeah, I'm worried, mate. What's your Google history like?
You don't want to see.
Why?
Because it was invisible ink.
Oh shit!
Show up on paper until you like did something to it. Yeah.
Is that what invisible ink's made of?
No, not now.
I hope not.
Mate, imagine that. You've just got like a bunch of people in a factory jacking off to make invisible ink.
I mean,
I don't think that's how they do it.
No, it's not.
Sorry, Liam, what did you say?
I was a kid the last time I used invisible ink, so I'm really hoping that's not how they still do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Jesus, man.
My brain is full of weird facts.
Thanks for that, Luke. I can die happy
You're
now.
welcome, mate. You are more than welcome.
The kind of coaching. See, only Luke would know that as a coach. That's your niche, mate. Is semen knowledge.
People that like inappropriate jokes.
To be fair.
Oh, mate, I was with a client yesterday, and she was setting up the leg extension. She was putting it onto the setting, like the back pad setting that she wanted, and it was moving, and it clicked down, and she goes, "Is it in? I can't tell." And I'm like, "Oh fuck! How do I not make this joke?"
Yeah, but you got to be careful in that situation.
I managed to save myself.
It
was tough though. It was really tough.
To be fair, that's pretty much why I follow you, Luke. So I mean,
it was very hard. I'm not gonna lie.
It was very what?
That was intentional.
Careful around.
Right,
client,
should we get back to like actual podcasting?
We probably should.
Yeah, something like that.
So other than Jack's special pen, how was the week been?
Decent, mate. I'm looking. I feel like I'm taking gear, but I'm not taking gear. Like, I just look sick all the time. It's great.
That's the goal, mate.
I know.
Ideal.
I've only gained like 4 pounds in 2 months. It's great.
Bacon hunts, mate. That's what we're after.
And my food's literally double. I don't understand what's going on, but I'm here for it.
How many calories are you on at the moment?
3.2.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Big boy shit. Big boy shit. How deep in a deficit are you?
Well, I mean, I'm at 77 kilos now. I want to get down to around 70, maybe stop at 72. So I'm on 2,000 calories and 2 untrapped meals, so it's pretty comfortable at the minute, to be honest.
Oh yeah, that's light work.
Oh yeah, that's doable.
Yeah, we might be looking into doing a photo shoot.
Oh yeah.
Which will be very, very fun because one of my clients, Ollie, shout out Ollie, does photography. So he kind of put the idea forward, and we were like, oh, maybe actually.
Yeah, that could be a good fun.
I back it. I back it.
Lovely stuff, mate.
What about you, Jack? What have you been up to, mate?
So, well, I finally cleaned my car. That was a big highlight.
Anyone
Anyone who knows,
so.
yeah, anyone who knows,
Mate, it was like green.
Yeah, so I parked it under a tree literally for 2 years straight. So the top was green. I took it to the blokes there, and usually it's like a tenner for a wash. And he looked at it and he was like 20. I was like, okay. I was like, all right. And then I paid, and he was like, I don't know if we'll be able to do it, by the way. And I was like, okay, just have a crack at it. But anyway, like when they were done, they took a picture of it. They were like, get out your car and look at it. And they were taking pictures. They were like, this is insane. I got out and it's like brand new, brand spanking new. It's perfect. And it's a white car. Anyone who doesn't know, I drive a white car, and it's oh my God, it looks like a toy. It's so clean.
It's got invisible ink all over it now.
All over it, mate. All over it. They were working hard, those Russian lads.
I specialize in washing cars, and they take one look at yours and say, I'm not sure if we can do it. Like that's pretty concerning.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. They were asking me the whole time. They'd be like, roll down the window. They'd be like, why have you not got your car washed? I was like, bro, what is the need?
How long did it take?
To be fair, only like 5 or 10 minutes. But they had to, there was a queue of people, so they sprayed this solution on the car and they had to let it like soak in, and then they washed it, and they did it twice, which was why it was 20. It didn't take too long. They have big power washers and stuff. But yeah, honestly, it's beautiful. Like, life has been breathed back into that car.
Is it going to
say you decide to change your ways and get it washed?
I had coffee with my mum, and she was like, oh, there's a place you can get the car washed for a tenner. And I was like, okay. I'm very stingy, so I was like, oh. In my mind, I'm like, my car being dirty doesn't bother me £10, you know.
Yeah.
But I was looking at it and I was like, okay, I'm starting to get a little bit self-conscious driving around in it now. Like, if I go to see clients, I will park it further away and then walk. And I'm like, okay, no, maybe I should. I'll do it once. And I'm convinced I'll probably go back there next month because it's a white car, so it would need constant doing.
You've got to get a grey car, mate. Grey cars like can get dirty and still look fine.
Yeah, well, I was going to get
cars are the same. Like they look pretty shit when they're dirty, which is weird.
Oh, what you reckon? Black is just as bad as well?
Yeah, because my first car was grey, and I literally washed it like once in the entire 4 years I fucking had it, and this gets filthy in like a month.
Oh, fair. Yeah, I might do grey then. Yeah, I want something that like just doesn't really get dirty or needs looking after that much. I mean, it's gonna get dirty, but you know what I mean. But yeah, besides that, we officially launched Camille. Thank God that took ages.
Why did you not post the reel up until like last?
Because it only came back.
Oh, I see.
It came back the other day, and Camille had a bunch of inquiries. We weren't meant to launch him until like today, but he had a bunch of inquiries, and he was like, well, I'm already using your sheets and your systems, mate, so we might as well start on that. And I was like, yeah, fine, fuck it. So he changed his Insta name, and there we go. But I had everything
that like last week though.
What, changed his name? No, it's been that way since like start of January.
Yeah
because he had a bunch of inquiries
before
we launched him. He had a bunch of inquiries before we launched him, and their sheets were going to say Archer Academy. The form that they inquired through said Archer Academy.
Right, I get you.
So he was like, whoa. He was like, well, we might as well launch it. And I was like, if you want to, go for it, mate. So yeah. So we did it.
Running.
Yeah, we did the back end stuff, and now we're doing the front end.
Go on, Luke.
Oh, come on.
Oh, fuck, I didn't catch that.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, not too much. I moved gyms to one that's closer, and it's
What's that?
one that a lot of people near me go to, which is nice to kind of run into some old mates again. So yeah,
What one's
we'll
that?
see. It's Norton Gym.
Oh, okay. You've trained there before, haven't you?
Yeah, that was where I like kind of started properly bodybuilding.
Jeez.
So yeah, I've left graftism, even though I'm going to graftism today to film legs.
Okay.
But
To your roots,
yeah.
mate.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, yeah. But
And
yeah,
is that
yeah.
like equipment wise, is that still pretty good?
Yeah, it is still good. It's not like I mean, graftism's great. It's just a lot of prime though. So it's not like a shit ton of prime, but it is still pretty good.
Prime isn't like you want the whole gym to be it, sort of like you wouldn't have prime as like your base brand for the gym. You know what I mean?
Exactly, mate. Norton is a bit more hand-picked, but there's some weird stuff in there that you've never seen. But I kind of like, this sounds weird, but I kind of like it because it makes me a bit more competitive, because there's a lot more people of like a similar age and caliber. Like there's a lot of like competing juniors that train out of there. Whereas at graftism, it's like you'll run into people who train casually, who are TikTok influencers or are IFBB pros. And so it's like there's not really much competition. But if you go to Norton, it's like full of juniors. So it's like you step in and you're like, oh shit, I should probably crack on. Which I kind of
quite like training at the gym group and just like being the big fish. I think it's fun.
I'm not gonna lie, I did as well at uni. Like it was a lot of fun.
It's so fun.
Planet Fitness.
What's that?
Sam Sulek style Planet Fitness.
Oh,
Yeah, literally. I can see why he does it. Like it is quite a lot of fun to be the big fish. I couldn't do it forever, but
mate, they must hate him there.
yeah, I'm amazed they haven't thought of an excuse to get rid of him.
He brings publicity though, doesn't he?
Yeah, but to the wrong audience.
Yeah, true.
You know, is like Planet Fitness's model is literally like, we want you to pay but not go to the gym. But
mate, the gym group here have 25% of the members that haven't come in the last month.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, that's good for them.
It's not, mate, they're making like 20, no, I worked it out. I swear it's like 40 grand a month on people that don't come.
Yeah, I'm not
Maybe 30.
Because
why don't people just have memberships? Like, is it embarrassment or what?
Because it's only 25 quid. They're like, oh, I can't be asked.
Yeah,
it's not worth the hassle. I'll go next week, and then they just don't end up going.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it works.
They make you jump through hoops to leave. Yeah, it's one
the
of those,
gym group are usually pretty good for it, but yeah, a lot of places do that.
You usually like you just chuck it on your card and it's 25 quid, and then like it comes out, you're like, oh, I should cancel that, and then you leave, and then comes to the next month. But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with Planet Fitness. Like they're really, really pushy with trying to keep people. I think they got in trouble for it, didn't they? Because they made leaving really, really difficult. And they make joining incredibly easy, obviously.
Yeah, some places make you go and do it in person as well, so you're like admitting defeat.
Yeah, no, so they will probably like salesman you, where they'll be like, are you sure? Really?
Yeah. Are you sure you don't actually like need PT to just keep you going, and then you pay them an extra like
exactly, yeah. You do PT for a few months and then you stop doing PT, and then you got to come in again and the cycle repeats.
Well, the gym manager... Sorry, Liam.
No, I was just going to say, I remember I left a gym like that once, and it was a weird vibe, because the guy that I was trying to cancel with, he was like, oh, I can't do that, but I know someone who can. And he brought out this like young woman who was like trying to act like a little bit flirty across the desk kind of thing, like, oh, you want to stay with us? Like, no, this is weird. It's like,
weird
to leave.
I can't do that, but I know someone who can. I bet if it was a woman who was trying to leave, it would have been the girl being like, I don't know, but I'll sort you out. Did you give your like your sexuality and taste when they sign up? They're like, yeah, I like blondes. There's like a blonde woman behind the desk being like, yeah, don't leave, mate.
Yeah, you imagine that they're on like the staff group chat, like, Stacey, we need you in the office immediately.
You're in quick. Run. Run.
Oh my god, that's jarring. Yeah, so the gym manager here used to work at David Lloyd, and they do research on it. Like sort of when people leave and when they get PT and that sort of thing, because it all goes through the till there. And they found that the majority of the people that were getting PT had like been members for a few months and just hadn't seen fucking anything happen. Whereas the people that got PT basically straight away, like, quit after a few months.
Really?
Yeah, because you think they've like tried and failed and realized it hasn't worked. Whereas if they've never really tried and they just get help straight away, they think, oh, this will be fine forever then.
Oh, so do they like discourage you from pushing yourself onto certain people then?
No, this was at David Lloyd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's that attitude of like when people sign up with a PT or a coach and they kind of have a few months of it and go, all right, I know what I'm doing now, and they disappear. Whereas, you know, for any value, you kind of want to stick with it for a lot longer than that. And
then they come back and they're like, oh, mate, I fucked it.
Yeah.
Did you see that comment I got the other day of some guy being like, oh, if you're a good PT, they'll only need to be with you for a few months?
Yeah, I saw you respond to that, but I didn't watch the video because I was busy somewhere. What did you say?
Well, I think the main issue is, so I went on the guy's profile, and I'm not going to say it because he seems quite young, and I think he's just being a little bit silly, bless him. And
does he have like 2 client results? Tell me.
No. So he's not a PT, he's a surf instructor.
Okay, that's how it works, right?
No, I was thinking about this morning because I was like, I bet you could teach someone to get to the point. If I was like, hey, I want to learn to surf, I'm not going to hire you for 2 years, am I? Like, if I want to get competitively good at surfing, sure. But if I'm like on holiday and I'm like, hey, I bought a surfboard to teach me to use it, yeah, I'd probably get like a few lessons. And then I'd go and do my own thing. So I'm not trying to be the best. I'm just trying to like learn a skill. Whereas PT and coaching isn't really that. I replied to him being like, hey man, you know, PT isn't the same as like getting a driving instructor. It's more like having an accountant. It's like, yeah, sure, you could have an accountant for a few months, ask them some questions, and then try and do it on your own, but you're never going to be anywhere near as good as them. Or with a driving instructor, you don't then really like learn to drive and then keep them there because they're like, you're done, you can drive, good, you're done. Like, PT is not a driving instructor, it's more like an accountant. But I feel like teaching someone a sport, like if you were trying to learn something like surfing, it probably would be a bit more like a driving instructor because you're just trying to, do you know what I mean? You're just trying to learn the basic skills of that and then leave.
I think as well, whether your interest is bodybuilding, powerlifting, lifestyle, whatever, because it does take over so much of your life, it's more reason to have a coach and kind of stick with that person for a long time. Whereas like you say, the skills you mentioned are basically just something you learn for a bit and then you do just kind of go off on your own.
Yeah. But it depends on the level that it's at. Like if you want to surf in the Olympics, I don't know if it's in the Olympics or not, then you're probably going to need help for a bit longer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, well, the thing is, the like plans change, and what you need to do changes over time, and so you kind of like, well, you get moved through different phases because training is periodized, and then sometimes life gets in the way, and you need help around that. As you get deeper into a phase, it gets harder. Like either you're pushing up or pulling down or whatever you're doing. Nice. If you're like going through a volume phase or a muscle, like trying to build a certain body part, again, that can get a little bit harder because you get less and less room for error with your programming as you kind of push harder and harder. Or even just as you get more advanced, like as you get more and more advanced, the level of detail that your plans need gets higher and higher. You don't really get to a point where like, unless the only time I've ever had clients who are like, I'm done, I'm completed it, is when they say like, I've seen it like twice. It's very rare. You're like, I have literally no goals left. Like I'm happy. I'm done. Like I literally do not care. Like I'm happy to stay like this for the rest of my life. And I'm like, okay, then I guess just keep cracking on with what you're doing. Like if that's it, that's it. Like, but that's very, very rare because usually people want to continue to improve on what they have. Because why would you not?
I think as well, like I used to do judo, and like within that, you know, you're going to your training sessions, like you obviously have your coach for that, but they're only teaching you techniques and things. They're teaching you like what to do in that situation, but obviously they don't really give you diet plans, things like that, like lifestyle advice. Whereas what we do is a lot more all-encompassing of someone's entire day and night even.
Yeah.
So that's why it's more important to stick with this kind of thing for longer to get more benefit from it.
And what people think they need is to learn how to do it right, but what they actually need is to know how to fix it when it goes wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I'm OCD as hell, like I said. So like even with form feedback, Jack's even been like, look, man, your form's good at the minute. You don't need to send me stuff for a while, but I'll still be like, no, I'm going to send you every lift, mate. I want you to go over everything. Like, I'm probably a pain in the ass for this, but again, like, I want to perfect everything I'm doing, which obviously is going to get you better results.
Yep. Exacto mundo, mate. So we might as well wrap up with some of our favorite questions. He says not stalling for time as he pulls them up. La-di-da-di-da, la-di-da-di-da. No dead on this podcast.
If I
What do you mean?
disappear at any random point, it's because my laptop's died.
Okay, well, do better.
Because it's on like now.
Oh, this could be okay. There's some good ones in here. We'll just run through a few. These will all be aimed at yourself, Liam, mate. So you're in the hot seat. And then don't worry, they're all fun questions. And then we'll take it from there. So I think this could be a good fun one. What advice would you give to your younger self?
To my younger self, I mean, probably a pointless one, but it'd be not to do half the shit I did. But it would be to start sooner. You know, I mean, I went in, like I said, with the attitude of, you know, it's kind of too late now. I've kind of messed up my youth. It's not really worth making it back.
I've messed up my youth.
Oh, mate, I did. Like, I fucked up big time. But now sitting here at 30, I'm in way better shape, way healthier, way happier, way more mentally stable than I was at 20. So, yeah, for sure, to start earlier on the path that I'm on now.
You're only 30, mate. A lot of people listening are going to kill you for saying that you've wasted your youth at 30. If Pete hears this, he will kill you. If you get an angry message off Pete, don't be surprised. You're only 30, you're a young man, calm down. What is a common misunderstanding that you think people have about you, or you know people have about you?
About me?
Yeah.
I would say it's because I'm fairly early on in my own, you know, like fitness journey and my own coaching career. I think people can underestimate me. I think because, I mean, I posted a story about it yesterday saying that, you know, I know I'm not the biggest guy in the room, but a lot of people you're following on social media have been training consistently for years. It might be that they're on gear. It might be that they have better genetics. It doesn't actually mean that I know any less than these guys. I know we've had this conversation, Jack, where we've talked about some bodybuilders make the worst coaches, like not all, but some, because in theory, as long as they, you know, use the basic principles, whatever they do is going to work. Whereas for those of us that fall under the Built Not Born brand, you know, we need to be a bit more specific about our training and about our diet to actually kind of get more from our efforts. So yeah, if I was to summarize that, it would be that I think people think because I may not be the biggest in the room or been doing it for the longest, that I can't keep up with other people that are already doing it. Whereas that's just not true. Obviously, if people were to sign up with me, they can see that themselves.
Hey, cheeky promo at the end. Very nice.
Jeez.
I like this one as well. Like, this is kind of an interesting one. I'm not sure if it'll apply, but have you ever received an insult that you're proud of?
An insult that I'm proud of?
It doesn't need to be something that you view as insulting, but maybe something someone said that was meant to be insulting.
I wouldn't say an insult as such, but I've definitely, off the back of what I just said, I've definitely been challenged on my knowledge. Even today, actually, I've been chatting back and forth with somebody where I'll post something like kind of controversial, and I, you know, it gets people talking, so I'm quite happy to do it. But I'll post something like today. I talked about length and partials versus full ROM. And it definitely gets people debating, and I'm happy to have that debate with people. And I think people go into the conversation with me trying to call me out on it as if I'm kind of faking knowledge. And then we can actually get into quite an in-depth conversation like, oh shit, actually no, like he does kind of know what he's talking about. And they either tend to have quite a fun little debate with me, or I'm able to give them a bit of advice, which is always a really good feeling.
Beautiful, man. I think that's a very good point. I remember early on in my coaching career feeling kind of very similar, just very underestimated, very overlooked, very like kind of, you know, it's hard when every really, really, really good coach starts off as new.
Yeah.
And when you're new, you just don't get that credit that you deserve because you are new. And I remember the first time I ran into Luke, and I was like, holy shit, this guy's fucking knowledgeable. Cunt. Yeah, I was like, this small guy is so knowledgeable, but he's got like 4 people that back him, and it's crazy. But like, obviously that snowballs over time, but it can be, you know, just really, really difficult to break into something when it's like the more clients you have, the more you get recognized for being a good coach, because people see, oh, people do trust him. But it's so hard when you're just starting off to be like, please give me some clients, Give me more clients so I can prove to you that I know what the fuck I'm on about. I remember clawing for it.
Well, this is the thing. I actually did that with you, Jack. I'm sure you won't mind me saying, like, when you first started out, I was kind of like, look, I don't know this guy. I'm going to go with somebody who's been doing this for years. And as I said earlier in the podcast, like, that was a terrible fucking move. And yet I've been working with you for 2 years now. So with that coach, I quit after about a week, whereas with you, 2 years of working with you. So that just goes to show that just because I didn't see the social proof in the beginning, didn't know that you didn't know what you were doing.
And part of that is probably like the guy that you joined initially had built up like he'd worked with a good amount of people, and the people that were coming to him were more like, yeah, I'll just do as I'm told. And when you get somebody newer that's got a little bit more stuff to work around, it's a little bit like, well, I've got these other fucking 50 people that just do as I told. I can't be asked to change this.
Yeah.
Which isn't the right way to do this, but you know what I mean?
And as well, when we say about people that aren't genetically blessed, those of us that have to really grind, perfection almost to see half decent results, you need somebody that can guide you through that with every little detail. Whereas, if someone's just going to go, here's a generic meal plan, here's a generic training plan, tell me if you've got any issues, don't offer check-ins, you're not, most people aren't going to
Don't offer check-ins, fuck my life.
What'd you say, Luke?
Don't offer check-ins, fuck my life. You actually serious?
I mean, not this one coach I was referring to, but
Okay.
it's something I have heard of in the industry.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it does happen, sadly. Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of coaches are just volume coaching, as in, like, not as in, like, set volume, as in they'll coach 100 people, use something that's got, like, a 50-50 success rate, which is fucking awful. But then you've still got 50 transformations and testimonials coming out, and so it looks like you're really successful. I mean, you can even do it with 20 people. You got 20 people, and you're posting 10. Wow, it looks like you're sick, but they just don't see the other 10 that are, like, screaming and crying and shitting the floor because they're shitting the bed because they're not getting the results that they want, and they're all just following basically the same plan. Like, you can give everyone the same plan, it will have a level of success rate, whether it's 1 in 10 or 9 in 10 or whatever. Like, it's probably going to be about 50%, if not lower. But yeah, you can just end up with like some fucking shocking coaches. It happens a lot.
This is the thing though, like, if your business was, say, a coffee shop, and you offer out some shitty coffee that maybe like 50% of people with low standards are going to enjoy, but the other 50% of the public are going to fucking despise, but you hide those reviews, then that's not a very good business model to base it on, is it? So why would you do that with coaching?
Yeah, it's the exact same thing. It's like if every B&B hoodie that we gave out, one of them was good and one of them just completely fell apart.
Yeah.
And if they're, oh, well, we had 50 customers and 25 of them like it, it's like, but yeah.
And it's the business too, so why would you want to give yourself that negative reputation?
Exactly. Reputation is everything as a coach, like it really is. Okay, we've got one nightmare meal plan. Assuming this is like, just to kind of keep thinking, because I already know it will probably be something that's like really long to make. So let's say time isn't an issue. Like, let's say that you've got a month off work for whatever reason. Nightmare meal plan in terms of like foods that you just hate that commonly tend to kind of work their way into people's meals, maybe.
I mean, personally, there's not many foods I hate other than celery, which is really weirdly specific. But no, I mean, like, it's the stereotype.
Celery dipped in whey slugs. That'd be great, mate.
But no, it's just the typical like chicken, broccoli, and rice thing. Because I remember when I first started as well, when I first got into fitness, that was all I would eat because I was convinced by social media that that's what you needed. And it's just shit, mate. It's just fucking bland. Like, nobody enjoys that. Whereas now, like, I'll change up lean meats, I change up carb sauces, change up veg sauces. Like, I know you guys don't like frozen veg, which personally I'll use, but I get why you don't like it.
Yeah, to be fair, I back the chicken, rice, and pineapple is good, but it does need a sauce or something. I'm not the biggest fan of broccoli.
I'll use it like if I'm in my locker at work.
Yeah. Oh, Luke's fading in and out. You're still here, bro. Don't worry. You're all good.
What the fuck?
Okay, now we got no audio out of that.
There we go.
I heard what the fuck, and that's
No,
it.
I was just saying, like, I have
laptop.
some cans of tuna, microwave rice, and then frozen veg in the freezer at work for like backup. Oh, okay, that's good.
Okay, now we can hear you. Your just camera's a bit fucked. Yeah, I like. I don't. To be fair, I don't like frozen veg is fine. There's just you can get yummier veg, but at uni, like I would get mixed frozen veg, try and get as many different greens in there as possible, and just like I'd buy like a Mediterranean one, I'd buy like a regular old British one, and then I'd like make my own out of like a few, and I just like consume that across the week. And like, oh my god, that was amazing! Like the convenience from that. Oh. Because you just slam like you cook some meat, slam some frozen veg in it. When you reheat it, defrost the veg, beautiful sauce, seasoning, whatever, done. But yeah, fucking okay. So we got chicken, broccoli, and rice. What else are we putting on there? We'll do 2 more meals, so 3 meals total.
But that are just dead.
Yeah, that you would hate.
Mate, I think fucking toast is overrated. Like,
really? Nah, I can't be backing that. I like bread.
Get the excitement, like.
Bro, I
bread.
love toast. I love
What
bread.
you're enjoying is what you put on it. It's not the bread.
Now sourdough, like tiger bread. Come on.
All right, you've got me at brioche, but that's about it.
Okay, fine. What about are you a fan of seafood at all?
Yeah, mate, love it.
Okay. Okay, so we'll have a bread meal. What are you going to put on it? Something like I've got an idea, but I don't want to skew your answer. But what are you going to put on the bread? Because we need a protein source in there, brother.
Oh, mate, if it's protein sauce, you can go with prawns, mate. Like make a nice little prawn sandwich out of it, bit of mayo with it.
Nah, it's going to be bad. Don't make it good.
I've ruined that one already, haven't I? Like bad. No, like a mussel sandwich, mate. Make it.
Oh, I would have gone for like protein powder. I feel like protein powder. Drizzled or dry.
I'll just fold it over the top.
Yeah, like Parmesan. Like, all right, final meal then. So we've had chicken, broccoli, and rice. We've had the mussel sandwich. Jesus Christ. What's next?
You know what? I'm saying this is a good one for me, but most people probably hate it. Is chicken liver. Like chicken liver is underrated.
Okay, low key, low key, yeah. Like, I started getting it for King, and I would cook it, and it smelled good. And then I had a little bit, and I was like, "Fuck! I hate that I like it. It low key slaps. It's so weird." It's chicken liver.
It's got a bit
chicken
of
liver, pork liver. I was not a fan of lamb liver, but pork and chicken liver.
Mate, and pork kidney, like fuck, that is disgusting. It's the saltiest thing I've ever fucking eaten. Like Luke, you're welcome to make a joke about that, but fucking hell,
that's it's so bizarre. To be fair, from a health perspective, liver is fantastic because it's just packed full of fucking vitamins. Because that's where most macronutrients end up getting stored and or transported from. Sorry, bro. Sorry, bro. It is. I mean, he's right in the way that like having a bit of liver in your diet is good from a health perspective, but I wouldn't go crazy with it because there's still some sat fat in there, which could be problematic potentially. All right. Anyway, we're running out of time. So, Liam, mate, give us a rundown of where people can find you, and again, like who you mainly work with.
So, as I said, my Instagram page is it's Liam Lifts 2023, but the brand name is Busy Beast Coaching. You can find me obviously on Insta. I follow both Jack and Luke, so you can find me off of their accounts if you need to. And I also have a link in my bio now for a free ebook on the Busy Person's Guide to Lifting, which I think should help a lot of people out. And obviously, I'm here to answer any questions people have or any more information they need off the back of that.
Hell yeah. Luke, where can they find you, mate? Oh, he's not here. All right, hang on. So Luke is LacticAddictLuke on YouTube and Instagram. If you want his clothing discount code on BuiltNotBorn.store, it's Lactic10. Don't use it though, use Archer10 instead. I'm Jack _Archer Academy, Instagram, YouTube. Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for coming on the pod. I need to find the end of the record button. There it is. So, yeah, if you want fucking coaching from any of us, drop us a message. Bye.
Peace out.